This is the new Mercedes GLE, and you're probably thinking, wait a minute, it doesn't look all that new, but it is. Mercedes has made some key changes to it, and in this video, I'm going to talk you through them. I'm going to show you around the exterior, the interior, see how practical it is, and I'm going to take it for a drive. And yes, of course, I'm going to launch it. I'm Matt Watson, and you're watching Carwow. Buy, sell, Carwow. Let's start off this video by some of the changes that Mercedes has made to the exterior design of this car. So they've given it some new tail lights, woo! Slightly different bumper design, yay! But one thing they haven't changed, which they should have done, was to get rid of the fake exhaust. Fake! Doesn't go anywhere, fake! It doesn't go anywhere either. Real exhaust is there. Anyway, moving down the side, so you've got some new alloy wheel designs, and they range from 20 inches up to 22s, which is what this car is. It's quite a good looking car, you know, sturdy, solid. You've got your roof bars, you've got your running boards, makes it look like a proper off-roader. Don't know why I'm walking like this, feels appropriate though. Here at the front, they've redesigned the lower part of this grille, and you now have Mercedes stars. Lovely. And got redesigned headlamps with these new LED daytime running light elements. I think it's good luck in this. Looks expensive, but that's because it is. Starting price, £78,000. This one here, plug-in hybrid, £93,000. It's a lot. Anyway, if you're spending that kind of money on a car, you've got to make sure it's the right car for you and that you're paying a fair price. And you can do that through Carwow. Just go on to Carwow and you can compare lots of different videos and reviews of cars and the different offers you can get on them through various dealers. Plus, you can sell your current car through Carwow. Just upload some photos of it, give a brief description, then dealers all across the country will bid on it in an online auction. Carwow really is the place to change your car. You can go there now by clicking on the pop-out banner up there or following the link in the description below. Alternatively, you can do it at a later date or tell your friends and family to do it at a later date by simply Googling "Help Me Carwow" and we will help you change your car the easy way. Here on the inside, there aren't that many changes over the previous GLE, but one big one is the steering wheel. And that's not necessarily a good thing because the buttons for controlling the various functions are touch sensitive. And you can accidentally knock them when you're driving. And they're also actually quite awkward to use. You don't really know where you are with them. Should you press? Should you swipe? Should you... not ideal. Other changes they've made to the interior trims. On all but the AMG Performance models, you get fake leather. It's not real leather. It actually feels all right, apart from this weird kind of texture. I don't like that. It's sort of a bit like the car's got leprosy. Then there's the fake wood on the dash. It's though Mercedes designers have been using Viagra. Other than that though, the design is actually pretty nice. Things generally feel really solid, apart from the odd bit of trim like this. Feels a bit cheap, and the fact that down there that's all scratchy plastics. In a BMW X5, soft touch all the way down there. In fact, if you want to see my full in-depth video review of a BMW X5, click on the window up there or follow the link in the description below. Other things for you to note are that the general design is pretty intuitive. Your climate controls are there. You don't really have to do them through the screen, which is good. The infotainment system itself has been updated and it's easy to use and quite simple to find the menus that you want, and the screen is nice and clear. I like the driving position, obviously being a Mercedes. Electrically operated steering wheel, plenty of adjustment, and the seats are fairly comfy, if a little bit on the firm side. You do have decent storage though, so under here, space and a USB-C charging port. Under here you have wireless charging and, oh check this out, cooled and heated cup holders. I like that. You've got an okay sized glove box. It's not the largest because part of the space is taken up by the car's perfume. Door bins though, big bottles will fit in there. No problem at all. It's quite big, practical and spacious. Up here you have your vanity mirror. It's not very big actually. And I do like the glass roof, which, can I open it? Nice. Do you know what? That sunroof really makes a huge difference here in the back seats. It feels very spacious. There's loads of knee room. Headroom's good as well. If you need to carry 3 in the back at once. This middle seat is a little bit narrow, but it's still comfortable enough. However, with 3 in the back at once, shoulder room feels a little bit on the tight side. I think an Audi Q7 just has a little bit more shoulder room in the middle row. Speaking of which, With the Audi Q7, you have 7 seats on all models. With this GLE, the plug-in hybrid is a 5-seater only. And if you want to see my full in-depth video review of the Q7, click on the pop-out banner up there or follow the link in the description below. Now, it's a bit of a shame that because you haven't got the rear seats, you don't have the facility to recline these seats in this plug-in hybrid like you can with the standard GLE. But to be fair, it's still pretty comfy back here. And rear windows, they do go all the way down. See, that's a good thing. The door bins, they're large as well. You've got these nets here, you've got 2 USB-Cs there. You can get dual climate control here in the back as well. And as standard, the car comes with a 13-speaker Burmester sound system, which looks cool and sounds epic. Oh, I've got to show you this. Got an armrest with some cup holders, and they are exposed, so it's not ideal. But you do have, where's the button? Some through loading. And when it comes to fitting a child seat, you do have to remove these covers, which you might lose if you're very careless like me. But once you remove them, fitting a child seat in the back here is super easy. There's loads of space to maneuver the seat. It's easy to then get to these ISOFIX anchor points, and it's very, very spacious. So even with a bulky rear-facing seat, you don't have to put the front passenger seat forward at all. The GLE has a reasonable sized boot. The standard car's capacity is 630 litres, though it's only 490 litres for the plug-in hybrid because the batteries eat up space in the boot. However, it's not all bad because it's still quite a large space, right? And it's square, so it's easy to pack. There's no load lift. You've also got some functionality here, such as, look, we've got 12-volt socket, you've got tie-down points, and of course you can fold down the rear seats like that. And they lie pretty flat, so it's easy to slide things to the front of the car. The only thing is that plug-in hybrid doesn't have the electrically folding seats. Yeah, you have to do it manually, and you have to go around to put them back up like this. Oh, the hardship, look, the hardship. Anyway, that does bring me on to 5 annoying things about this car. The running boards may look cool, but they're not that practical. They don't stick out that far, so it's quite hard to balance on them, so you don't really end up using them. You just climb in. And then when you do climb in, and especially climb out, what happens is the back of your leg rubs over it, and any dirt on there goes on your trousers. Because this is a plug-in hybrid, the fuel filler cap won't open automatically if the car's unlocked. You know, electricity, spark, petrol, not good. So you have to go in here to open it like that. There we are. And now it still doesn't work. Oh, it's done it now. Look, it's done it. What was that all about, that delay? Double annoying. Double, triple. Out. In the UK, for this facelifted version of the GLE plug-in hybrid, Mercedes has removed its facility to charge on DC rapid charging. You used to be able to do it to 60 kilowatts. That meant you could charge it to 80% in around 20 minutes. You only get AC in the UK, which is at 11 kilowatts max, which means it takes about 3 hours to charge it. Why have they removed it for the UK? Apparently it's because their customers didn't use DC charging. That means that if they're on a long run, they wouldn't bother to pull over at a charging point. Instead, they just run their car on the petrol engine. You know, save time. And that's the thing about these plug-in hybrids. Most of the time, people just run them on the petrol engine. And you're buying a plug-in hybrid for the tax breaks. Speaking of charging, unlike the normal GLE, you don't have any underfloor storage in the boot because the batteries are under there, which means that you have to carry your charging cables about. Let's have a look-see in this one. Yes. Let's have a look in this one. Yes. Great. Oh, and what's in this? It's going to be the tyre weld, isn't it? Yes. All taking up space in a boot that's already smaller than the standard GLE. Brilliant. It's quite cool that this car has ambient lighting with 64 different colours. However, this area of strip lighting reflects in the passenger window when you're driving at night. And when you look across, you check your mirrors. It's kind of distracting.
It's not all negative though. Here's 5 good things about this car.
As well as a normal rear view camera, you get a front view camera plus full surround cameras. for a 360 degree view of the car, and it all comes as standard. Because you've got standard air suspension, you can press a button in the boot to lower the car down to make it easier to load. Look, my feet can't touch at the moment, but hopefully they will soon. Look, yeah, that's good, isn't it, if you've got an old dog that needs to jump into the back. Oh, and there's this. You can get an electrically deployable tow hitch. Oh, yeah, look at that. Lovely. Now, the plug-in hybrid version of this GLE can tow 2.7 tons, which is good for a plug-in hybrid. However, it's the same figure for the normal car, which isn't brilliant when something like a Land Rover can tow 3.5 tons. However, the satellite navigation system does include a special towing route finder to make sure it plots a route according to if you're towing a trailer. And there's also like a towing assist thing to help you maneuver your trailer as well. Mercedes has added a special off-road driving mode, so you get loads of information about what's going on with your angles, your steering and all that kind of stuff, and it sets the car up for maximum traction and capability off-road. Plus you get this special off-roading camera view. So what it does is show you what's going on underneath your car, so you can place it very accurately when you're doing things such as rock crawling. Obviously at the moment I'm just driving around on some grass. Still technically off-road though. The car comes with a heads-up display as standard. I love a heads-up display. You don't have to take your eyes off the road. Speaking of which, it also gets a dash cam as standard. And so if you have an accident, you have some footage as evidence. And there's even a security mode where you can use the cameras on the car to actually send images of what's going on with it while you're away from it on your phone through an app. The driver can take control of the front passenger seat for some lols. Think you're sitting comfortably, do you, James? Not for much longer. Yes. Look at that. Yeah. Sit up straight. Yeah. That's it. Nice and straight. And I think you've got way too much leg room. You haven't been working hard enough today, James. This is your punishment. Yes. There. You comfy?
No.
Let me talk you through the engine options on the GLE because there's quite a lot to choose from. This particular car is the plug-in hybrid. It's got a 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder petrol engine mated to an electric motor, and it puts out 380 horsepower. Now if you don't want a plug-in hybrid, you can get one of the normal cars, and if it's efficiency you want, there's the diesels. There's two of them. One is a 2-litre 4-cylinder with 290 horsepower. The other is a 3-litre straight 6 with 390 horsepower. And then there's the petrols. There's a 3-litre straight 6 turbo petrol, which puts out 400 horsepower. Then you can get another 3-litre straight 6 petrol, but it's got more power. It's in the AMG 53, and that has 455 horsepower. And finally, there's the range-topping performance version, the AMG 63 model with a 4-litre twin-turbo V8 with over 600 horsepower. All models come with 4-wheel drive and a 9-speed automatic gearbox. But which version of the GLE should you go for? Well, I'm going to configure my ideal Mercedes GLE using the carwow configurator. If you want to find out what that car is, click on the pop-out banner up there. Or follow the link in the description below. Let's see what this revised GLE is like to drive, and I'm going to start off in town. So I'm running in hybrid mode, which is how most people are going to drive this car, and when you're just mooching about, it's just going to run on its electric motor, and it's easily got enough power to just get you about, unless of course you suddenly need to like zip out at a junction, then it'll kick in the petrol engine, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to try and keep it smooth, and it's very easy to do. One thing that I find quite interesting is that when I last drove the pre-facelift GLE, the brakes were a little bit kind of weird, that they were spongy at first and then suddenly would like clamp on the anchors. It seems better in this revised car, you know. And often hybrids can be a bit grabby on the brakes because the first part of your braking is regen braking. Now one of the things I liked about the pre-facelift version was the manoeuvrability. So the turning circle's 12 meters. And I'm trying to do a U-turn now, but I've totally cocked it up. So I'm going to press this button, go to my cameras and see, will I make it round? The cameras are saying yes, and my sensors are saying yes. From my point of view here, I'm saying no, but I'm just going to go for it. Trust the system, Matt. Trust the system. Look at that. I mean, this is a big old car. Sorry, big new car. It made it round. That's impressive. And it's very easy to maneuver because not only have you got these systems, which are so good, the steering's nice and light. Really is nice and light without feeling too vague. I like that. I actually like Mercedes steering usually. Another thing I like about Mercedes is their air suspension system. So as I'm driving up here, it deals nicely overall with bumps. However, because this is the plug-in hybrid, it's quite a bit heavier than the standard non-plug-in hybrid version. It's 2.6 tons as opposed to 2.3. And as a result, I think the suspension is just a little bit firmer. So when you hit certain bumps, it can just give you a little bit of a jolt. It's not terrible, but that is one of the downsides of the plug-in hybrid. One of the flip sides of the added weight is that it makes the car feel more like a tank, like a substantial thing, which is great when you're going in a straight line, but not so ideal when you have to make a sudden maneuver and change direction or brake, obviously. And we'll get onto that a little bit later on. But overall, in town, this is a really nice car to drive, and I haven't even engaged the engine yet. Maybe one slight issue, some of the blind spots. So that pillar is really thick. Also, there's some big pillars at the back as well, which when you're looking over your shoulder, once again, blind spots. But those cameras, really helpful. I like driving this in town, even though it's quite a huge thing. It's not daunting. Okay, we're heading out into higher speeds, now getting up to 50 miles an hour. Still on electric only mode, haven't engaged the engine at all yet. It's 130 horsepower, the electric motor, but it seems adequate for just getting this up to speed, as long as you don't want to get up to speed too quickly. But it will do over the national speed limit of 70 miles an hour in electric power alone. And Mercedes claim that you can do around 60 miles on electric power alone, though I think the reality is more likely going to be around 40. But that's good, right? It's quite nice just being in electric only mode, though I am noticing that this surface isn't great, and that air suspension is kind of a little bit fidgety, more fidgety than I think it would be in the standard lighter car. Those extra 300 kilograms do make a difference. They have to set up the suspension slightly firmer to be able to cope with it. Ew, am I going to engage the engine like I'm going up a hill? Nope. It's all good. You really could run this on a commute in electric only mode, so you never really have to go to the petrol station. But the reality is that most people won't do that, and I've got the evidence for that in a moment. We're coming to a faster stretch of road now, 70 miles an hour. I'm going to see what this car is like when you need that sudden burst of acceleration. Let's see how this car deals with it, how it brings in the engine, what the transition's like. Is it smooth? Is it quick? Let's find out. Here we go. Doing about 40, indicator on, floor it. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Right, that was quite a pause. But once the engine's engaged, 70 was quick. Anyhow, when you're cruising along at 70, it's reasonably quiet, this car. You know, we've got a 4-cylinder petrol engine, which when you rev it out, makes a bit of noise, but it's not a bad noise. Sometimes 4-cylinders can sound really like harsh, but this one's all right. That does bring me onto the economy. Mercedes say that this car, when using hybrid mode, you should be able to get 280 miles to the gallon. However, this car is saying that it's averaging 31 miles to the gallon over the past 298 miles. The fact of the matter is that with these cars, often people forget to charge them or don't bother. And so you'll basically go around driving on petrol power quite a lot of the time. And if you do that with this car, then a little test, run it on just petrol power, and it's averaged 23 miles to the gallon. So having a 4-cylinder 2-litre engine in a big car like this isn't that efficient. So you've got to make sure you charge it. It's all about the tax breaks, really. Anyway, enough about that. Let's put the car into sporty mode. Try it on a twisty road. I'm actually going to change gears myself. Yeah, the gearbox is pretty good. But will this car feel sporty? It has stiffened up the suspension, so I feel the bumps a little bit more. Well, that's the anti-collision protection there. It was shaking my seatbelt and giving me a flashing warning that I was getting close to our camera car. Calm down, I know what I'm doing. Although obviously that safety system is really handy. One thing I am noticing with this plug-in hybrid is that there's little point changing gears yourself, because there seems to be a delay between pulling on the paddle and something happening, which is a shame, because when you leave it to its own devices, this automatic gearbox is pretty good. Anyway, here comes some corners. Let's see how it copes with those. I think the added weight of the plug-in hybrid is really, yes, going to go against it in the bends. It still leans quite a lot, even in sports mode. You don't really want to push it too hard. It hasn't got like the sporty edge to it that a BMW X5 has. Obviously, you've got decent traction out of the bends because you've got 4-wheel drive, but through the bends and into them, ooh, yeah, this plug-in hybrid feels a little bit cumbersome. To be fair, the normal GLE isn't the sportiest handling car on a back road, but this plug-in hybrid is a little bit worse still. However, for most people, most of the time, it'll be adequate if you're just going along like a normal everyday person rather than just a motoring journalist trying to explore the dynamic envelope of the car you're testing. Speaking of testing the dynamic envelope of this car, let's find out how quick this GLE is from 0 to 60 miles an hour. Mercedes says it'll do it in 6.1 seconds. What will my specialist timing gear say? Here we go. Took off well, really well. It's impressive. Yeah, that engine sounds good. 6.2. I reckon we can do better. It's funny, I like the sound of it. 6.2. 6.2. Well, I think it's 6.2, don't you? 0.1 of a second slower than they say. I mean, who cares, right? Still pretty nippy. So then, what's my final verdict on the Mercedes GLE? Should you avoid it? Should you consider it? Should you shortlist it? Or should you just go right ahead and buy it? Well, I reckon you should shortlist the GLE. It really is a good all-round luxury SUV, but it's not the very best. Anyway, I hope you'll enjoy the video. If you did, give it a like. Also, let me know what you think of my verdict in the comments below. Click on those windows there for some more videos, and on that box there to go to CarWow to change your car the easy way. Oh, and it's completely free as well, so check it out. Thanks for watching.